Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation is Sri Rag Mahalla Tija. Satgur Miliye Pher na pave, janam maran dukh jaye. Pura sabd sab soji hoi, har naame rahe samaye. Man mere Satgur syon chit laye. निर्मल नाम सद नव तनो, आप वसे मन आए रहाओ. हर जियो राखो अपनी सरनाई, ज्यों राखे त्यों रहना. गुर के शब्द जीवत मरै, गुरमुख भवजल तरना. वड्डे भाग नाउ पाइयै, गुरमत शब्द सुहाई. आपे मन वसया प्रभ करता, सहजे रहा समाई. इक नाम मन मुख शब्द न पावै, बंधन बंध पवाया. लख 84 फिर आवै, बिरथा जन्म गवाया. भगता मन आनंद है, सच्चे शब्द रंग राते. अनदिन गुण गावै सद निर्मल, सहजे नाम समाते. गुरमुखी अमृत बाणी बोलै, सब आत्म राम पछाणी. एको सेवन एक आराधै, गुरमुख अखत कहानी. सच्चा साहिब सेवियै, गुरमुख वसै मन आए. सदा संग राते सच स्यों, अपनी कृपा करे मिलाए. आपे करे कराए आपे, इक ना सुत्तियां दे जगाए. आपे मेल मिलाएंदा, नानक शब्द समाए. In this passage, what we notice is that the root problem that Sikhi identifies as our existential angst, the root issue, is Jamman Maran, also called Phera. Satgur Miliye Pher na pave, Janam Maran dukh jaye. That is to say, if only we should absorb the teachings of the Satgur, the enlightener, that we can avoid this fate of Janam and Maran. So Satgur Miliye should not be read simply as meeting the Satgur in the ordinary sense, like meeting someone over a cup of coffee. It really implies an absorption and a dedication and a devotion and a lifestyle that is in accord with the wisdom of the Guru. Now, Janam Maran is obviously a central concept, as we've noted, but it's a little hard to grasp, especially for those, and there are many, who question the very idea of reincarnation, which this phrase seems to suggest. And the skeptical amongst us view it as being too literal a translation. That is to say, calling it reincarnation is perhaps too literal a translation. Now, that may well be the case. But on the other hand, there is little evidence. So the suggestion would be to take some time and think about Janam Maran. Is it talking about physical death? Is it talking about spiritual death, as some would argue? Is it just simply an illusion that there is death? Is that what we are laboring under? This is something to really reflect on. And the reflection should come to us from the Shabad itself, from the wisdom of the Guru. Pure Shabd sab soji hoy. Soji, that is intuitive awareness. Soji is not something that is taught. But if the teachings of the Guru are absorbed, in other words, if the conceptual framework of the Guru is understood and then absorbed and reflected over, it begins to give rise to an intuitive awareness. Soji hoy. Har naame rahe samai. Soji of what? Har naame, which is self-knowledge. There is an understanding, there is a an intuitive intelligence within us that then begins to sprout or grow or blossom, if you will. So that is really the key. And therefore you have the injunction in this Shabad. Satgur Syo Chitalai, my mind, bring awareness of the true enlightener, the Satguru, into your mind. Nirmal Naam Sad Navtano, Aap Vase Man Aaye. The self resides within the mind. And what form or shape does it reside in? It resides as unblemished, pure, eternal wisdom. The point is, you have this wisdom within you already. You have to uncover it. And so the injunction, go and apply your mind to this Guru wisdom. And then, of course, the Guru draws a contrast between the two primary mentalities that it identifies, that Gurbani identifies, the Manmukh and the Gurmukh. And it talks first about the Manmukh. Ikna Manmukh sabad na pave. So the Manmukh, meaning the one who's self-centered. What do I mean by self-centered? One who is operating from the perspective of conditioned existence, from the ego, if you will. If you recall, in the previous Shabad, we talked about how the ego or the haume is really the delusional center of subjective experience from which we operate. So when it says Shabad na pave, it doesn't like the Shabad. It doesn't mean like in the literal sense. What it is saying is that one who is operating from this delusional center of experience doesn't have access to the Shabad, and therefore it is bound in the love of duality, and so is constantly deluded. They're in an endless cycle of self-perpetuation. And what happens is, birtha janam gawai, the potential of life is missed. The possibilities of living a peak experience is missed. And in contrast are the true devotees, here referred to as Bhagats and also Gurmukhs. They are devotees of Gur wisdom. They are Gur guided, and they're attuned to the knowledge of the Shabad. And they experience bliss. Bhakta man ananda hai, sache shabad rang rate. That is because within them, this intuitive awareness is full blown. The knowledge of the self illuminates the intellect, and you know how to wind your way through life with peak performance. And the important thing about the Guru and the Gur Shabad and the Gurmukhs is that they realize, the Gurmukhs realize that ape kare karaye ape, ikna sutyan de jagaye. They realize that the Creator is the only doer, that it is actually seeking to work through us. And so therefore, what does the Gurmukh do? Sacha Sahib Seviya. Gurmukh Vase Mani Aaye. They enter into a pact with creation to serve it. And they dedicate themselves to serving creation, which they regard as the visible expression of the One. And this is the Akat Katha. This is the narrative of the Gurmukh, the unspoken bond between the Gurmukh and its creation around it. So that's how the Gurus would wish us to operate. With those thoughts, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.